always thought that even if it is on cloud, it already is very well protected.
Let's take example of AWS or Azure or any third party who is offering cloud services. They are giving 95% security. They will not give 100% security. So we cannot use very well protected. Data is diamond. We don't call it as a gold also. Okay, it's a diamond. Okay, most of the business depends on the diamond. What is the digital data protection? It talks about the same copy of the GDPR. Here in India, it starts from 10,000 rupees penalty till it goes to 250 crores penalty. Imagine the fileless ransomware attack on AI base, which compiles within your system and encrypt your data.
That's a big threat. Hello and welcome to Momentum, a podcast series by HirePro. Here we uncover strategies that make hiring fearless. I am your host for today, Akanksha Ahuja. And today we are here to discover and explore the profound impact of cybersecurity and its increased risk in the recruitment industry with high usage of AI. Imagine waking up to find out that your bank account is drained out, or your personal photos are being hijacked or are being held hostage by hackers. Believe me, this is not a scene from a sci-fi movie. It is actually a threat that millions face today. As more and more HR firms rely on AI to process the data, the stakes are even higher. To talk on the topic, we have with us Dr. Harsha, who is a cybersecurity researcher and a founder of HKIT Security Solutions. He is also the DPO, which is the Data Protection Officer with HirePro. He is a noted expert in the field of information and cybersecurity. Dr. Harsha is a BSc, MCA, PGDCA, and a PhD holder with numerous other certifications in the space of cybersecurity. He has a rich experience of over 2 decades in this landscape. Dr. Harsha has been a noted speaker in various forums and is also a guest speaker for many colleges and universities. Welcome, Dr. Harsha. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great.
Dr. Harsha, with your extensive background in cybersecurity and your involvement in major projects like Aadhaar enrollment application, you have also been a techno-legal advisor. You have been a technical committee member with SIT.
Yes.
So what initially sparked your interest to take up a career in cybersecurity?
Actually, there was a huge requirement for cybersecurity in 2008 onwards. Okay, country like India has realized the cyber attacks from 2014 onwards.
Okay.
So I started doing research. Okay, how the attacks are happening and how it can affect the India. Then in 2010 I got an award and I received my doctorate. And then from there onwards, my career started.
That's very interesting because with somebody who has done BSc and then MCA, people would generally get into development or coding. So it's really interesting to know that. Also, I'm very keen to understand, you have been always involved in different initiatives of the government, such as being a reviewer for the National Cybersecurity Policy, or even being a trainer for the Reserve Bank of India, whether it is for information security or for cybersecurity. So, over last 2 decades, what are the significant changes that you have seen in the cybersecurity landscape?
I cannot imagine that this kind of impact in the industries, and as the technology grows, okay, crimes also increases.
Definitely.
Okay, and it's all now it's a AI-based attacks. Okay, and how we are equipped. Okay, based on the last 10 years, it's a tremendous growth in terms of cybersecurity. At the same time, there's an impact also.
Can you explain us what are data protection policies and why data protection measures are important for HR recruitment companies and the HR recruitment tools that we use to protect the candidate's information?
Data is diamond. We don't call it as a gold also. Okay, it's a diamond. Okay, most of the business depends on the diamond. Okay, now the data, if you don't protect, okay, and definitely there are a lot of breaches, okay, and compromises are happens, and purely to avoid this kind of security breaches and leaks, few countries came out with the privacy policies to protect data. Okay, again, what kind of data that is? It's like a digital personal data protection. Okay, and that's called GDPR in Europe.
Okay.
In India, it's a DPDP. So, especially coming to the recruitment companies like HirePro, okay, needs protection for the candidates' data. So it increases the confidence in our customers. Okay, as well as to candidates. If your candidates' data is compromised, so they don't trust on HirePro, right? So that's where data protection is mandatory for any organization, especially for recruitment companies like HirePro.
So, according to you, what role do robust data privacy policies or measures play when we are collecting the data from the candidates during the recruitment process?
During the recruitment process, when you collect the data, okay, when it comes to the DPDP or GDPR or any privacy policy across the globe you take, they have rights to complaint, rights to claim for the penalties.
Okay.
Okay, and when the candidate wants to claim for the money or penalty, okay, definitely it's an impact on the business, right? So it is important for every organization to protect their candidate data, especially for companies like HirePro. Okay, the one is confidence level, and the policies, the privacy policies plays a major role. You are defining what all things to be done and should not be done. Okay, do's and don'ts in simpler language. Okay, so it is very important for organizations to define privacy policies through which you can also define your disclaimers.
Okay.
And what kind of consent you are collecting from the candidate. Okay, this is an important area. The policy plays a major role.
So in case they have, any company has very robust privacy policies, are you saying that it will give more trust to the candidates
Absolutely.
before they are applying, before they are processing the candidature?
It is like a blueprint.
Okay.
Without blueprint, how you can construct a house? The similar way, the policy plays as a blueprint.
Okay.
Okay, what I'm going to do. What is my business context? Okay, as a personal data of my candidate, how I'm going to process, where I'm going to store. Okay, these are things when it's predefined, the confidence level of the company is more. Okay, it increases more security in the market. Okay, if you have less cyber crimes, you will do a good business, right? So for that, very important point is the privacy policies, and there are cookies policies. Okay, and where to contact. So how to contact, right? So all of them will be put into the policy. So it plays a major role for any organization.
What are some data protection policies that HR firms and recruitment firms should adopt to protect the data of their candidates?
Oh, in your question itself, it's this. That is a privacy policy. Okay, the privacy policy for HR companies, where you have a regular recruitment process. Okay, maybe from experienced candidate or freshers, university, colleges, and all the places. And there, what happens without that policy, and along with the IT security policies, security policies, okay, all of them are mixed to address the privacy and privacy legislation.
Okay.
Once upon a time, it was like a privacy policy which was used only by organizations. Now it is a legislation, right? Legislation, you cannot say that I will complain. You have to adhere with.
So are there any specific measures that you can define for our audience, that what is it that specific measures that an organization can take to protect the data?
So first of all, you have to implement a technological control.
Okay.
and resource control.
Okay, can you elaborate a little?
Yeah, so for example, your data, okay, privacy related data, personal data, okay, stored in secured storages.
Okay.
How it can be protected? Is that access permissions are restricted?
Okay.
Is anybody external attackers can target those data?
Okay.
Okay. So all this kind of thing, how to protect, okay, how to secure, okay, and that is called technological control.
Okay.
And people, when it comes to people, you have to train people also,
Yes, absolutely.
right? Your employees needs to be educated how to protect data.
Yeah.
It's not that only technology can protect your personal data.
Yes.
Right? The resource who handles
The data.
data needs to be protected. Okay? People control.
Okay.
And organizational control.
Okay.
What is the organizational control? Now your management should come out with cyber security or privacy protection as a culture.
Yeah, as a guideline.
As a
they should
culture.
Follow it.
Yes, as a culture. Okay? Or by design.
Okay.
You cannot design and later on you can build cyber security on top of that. Okay, that's the organizational control. Who governs? Who protects? Okay, these three major controls are very, very important for a company like HirePro, who's dealing with the candidates.
So basically, the technical controls, the people control, and the organizational control. These are some of the measures. If most of the organizations follow, they can definitely protect the candidate information.
Absolutely.
Dr. Harsha, in your opinion, why is data protection really important for companies offering SaaS model?
When it comes to the SaaS, it will definitely on the cloud.
Okay.
Right?
Correct.
It won't be on the on-premise.
Yes.
The SaaS is always have a maximum threats and attacks.
Okay, why do you say so?
Because it's in the cloud. If it is in the cloud, public will be able to access. If you don't protect, hacker may be able to access, right? And target. Intrusions are more. It is like within your organization, you and me only talking and no others can come inside.
Yes.
But the same you and me are sitting outside in the ground. So other people will be able to access us. Is that correct? The similar way, the SaaS based, you are putting your applications into a cloud.
Yes.
And you are entertaining your client or your people to use that application or browser based or the application based. That's called SaaS based, right? So since it has got a more threats, okay, it has got more chances for vulnerabilities, okay, it needs high level protection than the application or the business, those who are doing on premises.
But I always thought that even if it is on cloud, it already is very well protected. So you still feel that there is high amount of threat?
It is like when it is on cloud, okay, we are not sure that very well protected.
Okay, why is that?
Because let's take example of AWS or Azure or any third party who is offering cloud services.
Okay.
They are giving 95% security.
Okay.
They will not give 100% security. So we cannot use very well protected. Okay. How you configure, how you set up your application on the cloud, it depends on that. Okay. So SaaS is always one step ahead on cyber threat. Okay, in the sense, if it is on premises or your own applications, okay, the threat is very less. If it is on public, because when you are putting on a cloud is for global access. You have to restrict. Now, within the organization, when you are allowing application access, within 300 people, the application versus 300 people. But when it's on cloud, okay, application versus 3 billion people. That's a cloud.
So,
but we depend on the AWS or Azure to give us a more protection. Okay, how we configure, how we make them more secure That depends.
So access control can help in this situation.
Absolutely. Yes, you came to a right point. It's access control. How you configure. Okay, is that you allow anybody can access any resources. Then you are welcoming threats, right? But when you have a proper access control to your SaaS based, okay, you can protect your data.
That makes sense, because even for us as an organization being in the SaaS space, we have very tight controls on the access. And now that I'm talking to you, I understand why. These days we hear a lot of terms like GDPR, DPDP. Can you let us know what is the origin of GDPR and what is GDPR?
Okay. In fact, if you look at personal data, okay, is compromised across the globe.
Okay.
And it's nowhere it's protected. To address this requirement, there are many challenges. So many people used to take their phone number, email ID, and their personal informations, and it is spread across industry. Okay, people used to call, send mail without their permissions. So to address this, in Europe, okay, they started with privacy legislations. Okay, that is called GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Okay, so this GDPR is a legislation, and it addresses to protect personal data and how the personal data is protected. And in that, they clearly mention what you should do as an organization when you are taking citizens' data, how to protect, what kind of permission you should get it from them before you collect.
So like consent that we fill. So you're right, but because now it is so much digital, if I want to order vegetables online, I cannot order unless I fill in my personal details. So you're saying it can also leak.
Yes. There are so many breaches happened so far. And earlier it was a European Union, EU directives. Many of them are not aware of this. Okay, before GDPR, EU Directives 95 was a legislation, and what it was doing is it was protecting personal data. Okay, and over a period of time, okay, technology emerges and a lot of things happen, and in 2008, European Parliament came out with the GDPR as a General Data Protection Policy regulation for citizens. It's a protecting citizens' data, okay, and their information. So that's where the GDPR has come there. And from the 2008 onwards, it is in the implementation, and then people started across globe. They started adhering this, and with that connection, many countries started working on their own privacy legislations. For example, Singapore has came out with their own legislations. They said, I'm not going to follow GDPR, European legislation. So let me make our own legislations. Like India also, they came out with their own regulations. But most of them are almost equal. The objects are equal, the same. Okay, that means protecting personal data. Privacy, what we call it as. Okay, Indian government has came out with a bill, and this is passed in the last parliament session earlier. And the DPDP is for digital personal data protection. Okay, and what is the digital data protection? It talks about the same copy of the GDPR, but it is customized according to country like India. Right, and now the consequences, if you look at, okay, the penalties and sanctions almost are same, but in Europe it is a 2 million euros, and for the smaller level compromises, and the larger level 4 million euros. But here in India, it starts from 10,000 rupees penalty till it goes to 250 crores penalty. And mainly this legislation targets company like the people who handles more citizenship data. For example, when we are dealing with the candidates, okay, it's like Indian citizens, right? Indian citizens have become the personal data. Okay, the objective of this DPDP is to protect your personal data.
Like you said, for India, it is DPDP.
Yes.
So, how have you seen that? Is there a change after DPDP came into picture? The way companies operate and organizations, have they changed something, in your opinion?
Yes. See, when you compare India with other countries, okay, there is always challenges in India.
Why do you say so?
Because adoption. Public has to get adopted, organization has to get adopted, right? Legal penalties should be adopted. If you go and tell the company you pay 250 crores, right? They will land up in the court. They will not pay penalties, right? But other countries, they will say that, okay, I'm ready to see. I'm not telling that we will not be able to do it, but still India is getting mature on the privacy handling case, because this legislation recently passed in the parliament, and now the new government has come and they are forming a administrative group or governing group, okay, who will be following with that. So when it comes to the India, how I am looking at, okay, it's like 140 crores population country. Okay, in that corporates are many. Okay, these corporates are still, they are trying to adopt these legislations, and the citizens should know what is their rights also. Apart from organization, many of the citizens, you go and conduct a survey, many of them not aware DPDP. You don't ask any public, are you aware that your data should not be processed without your permission? They are telling no. So the maturity level should improve within India, and it will take time, but it is fortunate that government is forcing on that. They are giving lot of efforts and they make this DPDP more successful. By this, what is the benefit? Let's take it's not only protecting the personal data, okay, it's protecting your business. Because the legislation talks about we are protecting my citizen, right? Their personal data. And when you are doing a business in India, we have to protect it. Once I protect, and I am free from the privacy compliances and penalties. So that is the reason the effort from corporates, effort from the small medium enterprises is very, very important to adhere this.
It is really good to know that organizations are putting additional effort because of DPDP to protect the candidates, to protect their information, and to protect the organizations.
Correct.
However, I cannot stop thinking that we are in a tech world. So can technology help the organizations to, help protect themselves from these legal obligations you were just describing?
Absolutely. Because if the criminals are from the technology background, we also build our technical capabilities to prevent from them.
Yes.
For example, now it is all bots. Okay. AI-based bots attack.
Yes.
Okay. Now the criminals are using. It is like a multi-dimensional approach.
Okay.
What is that? It happens. It is not that no more classical approach there where you target one company. It's a millions of organizations are targeted in 1 minute of time. Okay, so you have to bring artificial intelligence based threat detections.
Okay.
Then only you can identify.
So how can we do that?
So that in fact, when you are holding a personal data, okay, within the organization,
okay,
we have to protect them, right? How we can do that? There are next gen, AI based anomaly detections.
Okay.
Okay, and manage detection and responses. Okay, and so these are the things where you can identify how the threats are coming in to your organization. Okay, if you know your enemy, then you can protect yourself.
Yes.
The similar way for all personal data threats and protections. Okay, there is a technology which needs to be played in between both of them. Right? So when they are attacking based on the AI approach and technology, we have to defeat them by the AI only.
Yes.
Right? So when you want it should be equal technology, right? When the opponent is attacking by AI, you cannot be in the classical approach, or the old approach cannot be used here. Okay, so defeat AI-based threats by AI technology. Okay?
That's very well said, sir.
So the technology plays a major role to prevent these legal consequences. Okay.
Dr. Harsha, now if I talk about infosec policies, how can any comprehensive infosec policies help with mitigating the risk associated with data breaches?
Any organization, okay, if they draft or design very well comply with the legislations.
Okay.
The first step is to address the penalty columns or sanctions.
Okay.
That's very important, right? Within your organization, you make your employees do this, don't do this. All the things can be a policy, right? But when you are bringing that non-compliance issues into the infosec policies and say that, okay, there is a application which needs to be accessed by this approach, and your privileges are like this, and you should not have the access permission to be shared with somebody else, and how strong that is, and how you should keep it highly confidential. Okay, where to store your credential. You may have multiple credentials to handle, right?
Yes.
You have so many applications are within organization, even on a personal also, right?
Yes, yes.
So how multi-credentials can be managed, okay? And in case of any incidences, where to respond, to whom we should comply, right? These are things covered in the infosec comprehensive policies. And also, who is the first responder? Second responder and third responder. In case of emergency, where to go, what to do, how the business continuity, okay, how the disaster recovery planned, okay, and what is the minimum requirement as a security. Okay, so those things all it is in the comprehensive infosec policy should be put in, and then it should be reviewed by management, and management has to approve this, and then how you are accountable also. That's very important, right? You cannot tell that, okay, I have done some phishing, I clicked on that attachment by mistake, sorry sir, right? So accountability plays a major role. Okay, and what is the logging and monitoring? What is the activities are carried by your employees? How the application is behaving? What kind of access being monitored by your monitoring system? Is there any anomalies are there? Anonymous logins are there? Failed attempts are there? Most of the companies are good at recording on successful logins, but we always recommend identify how many of them failed,
so that you can identify
how long they failed. Is it genuine access or from the external attackers intrusions? So all of them are very, very important, right? So this is a long end monitoring. And when it comes to the physical security, cloud security, right? And in the cloud, what are the things needs to be done? Will you have one credential which can be shared with the multiple people? Will you have incoming and outgoing traffic to your SaaS-based application? Okay, with all to all, any service to any service. So where you will define this? These are the points needs to be put into the InfoSec comprehensive policies. And leadership involvement. How frequently leadership involved on this to review what is happening in the baseline. Right? And again, how long you will take for reviews? How long you will take for revise? Okay, policy cannot be like I have seen many companies. Okay, they make a policy for 4-5 years.
Okay,
never reviewed.
So you're saying
there is no revisions.
Frequent revisions has to be there.
Every day technology is improving. Attacks are happening. Have you heard of there is a ransomware attack with a fileless ransomware attack?
Okay.
Imagine the fileless ransomware attack on AI base, which compiles within your system and encrypt your data.
Oh my God. That's a big threat.
I'm seriously asking many people, are you ever, attacks are happening by attachment, by exe,
links,
by this file, that file, whatever files are there, right? If file only is not coming, and there is a mail comes to me or to my employee, any one of the department, he opens the file, it is compiling with a local coding. It creates with the script which is written in the text format.
It's very dangerous.
It is very, very dangerous. So, in this scenario, okay, in this cyber era, okay, we don't know whether we are in the safe cyber era or not. So, with this kind of threats around us, how we are going to protect our candidate data? Okay, that's where we always work towards that InfoSec, okay, policies and compliances, which will help organization to protect.
Can you also tell us how have data protection laws evolved and what is its impact on the future of recruitment and recruitment tools?
So, there is a need for protection, okay, provided whether it is a citizen or organization. So, that's where a lot of privacy legislations are coming out, okay. And apart from that, hiring companies, how they can prevent from the future attacks or future non-compliances of these legislations. If you look at, first of all, you should have a blueprint in front of you. Classification of the personal data. What is needed, you address them. There are companies who is doing everything protected. Okay, but for your business as part of personal data protection, you have to classify what is needed to be protected first, and then narrow down your security compliances and controls towards that security of the personal data, and educate people. Adopting quick technology can prevent future non-compliances. Okay, and how we can accommodate. I've seen personally there are many companies who still they use older technology. The quick adoption of the technology is the biggest challenge for any company. They think that why I should invest. It is like investing on your infrastructure. Invest on your business. Not direct business, it's a technology. When you invest on your technology, definitely you will be able to protect all the things from this kind of legal compliances and consequences. So when you again train your employees, okay, and tell your stakeholders, okay, what are the critical area which need to be focused on. Okay, so these are the mandatory requirements for any organization, hiring organization, especially if any candidate comes to know that, okay, I can file a case on them, right? Still the maturity is very, very low. The candidates are prone for this kind of consequences in such a way that they may write a complaints that this XYZ company is holding my data since long time. Okay, they are profiling with some other purpose.
Okay.
The penalty start, as I was telling, start from 10,000 to 250 crores. And mainly these legal penalties and sanctions on the companies, not on employee. Its organization has to bear the cost, and it should be paid to government. Okay, so the legal sanctions and penalties are very, very important here to prevent, and then plan in such a way that n-dimensional protection has to be planned. What is the n-dimensional protection? Cloud security is very, very important. How you restrict them? Application security. The application is put onto the cloud and you are looking for a protection, but the application developed in such a way that it has got internal problems.
Okay.
So application has to be vetted completely, and the infrastructure has to be vetted completely, and the IT or the IT ops and DevOps guys should be completely trained on cyber security. You cannot split cyber security and IT as two divisions. Okay, cyber security or the privacy protection should go along with that.
Got it.
Okay, so that is the reason we are telling organizations like hiring companies like who has got SaaS, for example, HirePro, and he has got a lot of proactive approaches. Technologies are developed, and we are far better than any company. Okay, as of now, and again we are going into the advanced technologies, try to scope up with this kind of thing and prevent from cyber crimes, and especially protecting personal data is our prime focus.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Harsha, for your invaluable insights on cybersecurity and risks related to data protection. While we wrap up, I would have some quick questions for you. If you had a superpower to protect your privacy online, what would it be?
When I have a superpower on my personal data, which you are talking about, okay. First of all, I will learn about what is the measures I have to take so that I can protect my personal data. Okay, people are not aware of that. They don't study what is our data. Okay, whether this data can be sold in the market. How many of you are aware everybody's phone number is sold in the market? Right? Everybody's email is sold in the market. Okay, why you get so many emails, spam, and you get many marketing calls? I did not share with anybody.
Correct.
How come other companies calling that you take this insurance, you buy this, you buy that, all the things?
Yeah.
That means without my intention, my data stolen, my data sold in the market. Okay, if I have a superpower to control that, okay, first of all, I will understand my personal data, how to protect them. So it is like we need to protect our personal data, okay, not spreading across. So that's where I will take a precaution.
So the superpower is awareness and trying to say no wherever it is not necessary.
Do not share.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me on this podcast, Harsha. And I will be very thankful for your effort, okay, and your CISO, Ashish, okay, and others. And all the best to entire group, okay, for having me on this. Thank you.
It is our pleasure. Thank you so much. To our audience, stay engaged for more insightful conversations coming your way exclusively on Momentum. Please like, share and subscribe to stay connected. I am Akanksha Ahuja, your host for today, signing off.